Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's just finished. Brighton 3, West Ham United 1. We're here to talk about the highlights. There's quite a few, but there's not that many. And to discuss what went wrong, there's many of them. Gonzo, just 7 minutes in, 1-0 Brighton. Glenn Murray. It was always going to be Glenn Murray, wasn't it? I'm going to ask you the question I always ask. Show me a goal, I'll show you the mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I thought on that one, Cresswell made the challenge, which he got a subsequent yellow card for. I thought he possibly could have got a red card for it, but I think everybody was surprised that the referee played on, including the guy that put the assist through to Murray. If you watch that through on a replay, not that you'd have to be mad to watch that game again on a replay if you're a West Ham fan, but if you do decide to be sadistic and watch the highlights, just as the guy is making the pass, he looks round to check with the ref to see if the ref has allowed play. He carried on. He did actually play to the whistle. I felt our defence, Ginge in particular, I thought everybody, including our players, all expected the whistle to be blown. And I think because of that, they were caught a bit flat-footed. Murray was played through, and he scored against us as he usually does, or as Brighton usually do.
I think you've been a bit harsh on Gross there. I think that's what he does when he's doing a through pass. That's just what a creative player does these days, and it does it looks one way and plays the other way type thing. I think that's
I don't mean he did it as a misdirection. After he passed it, he checked. What I'm saying is he was aware that the referee might have stopped play, and I just think everybody thought the tackle was so bad that everybody stopped. He carried on. He was the one player that played to the whistle. Everyone else thought the referee's going to blow up. That's what I mean. I don't mean he was throwing a bit of misdirection, looking that way and passing that way. He did it after he passed. If you watch it,
I think I know what you're talking about now. I think he's looking for offside actually. When you look at that, because Murray is so far ahead of everybody else around him. Even I was thinking, bloody hell, Charlie. Is there one person to blame for that goal, or is it a collective thing?
The entire defense just switches off. The three centre backs are all way too close together. Both way too close to the ball player and way too close together. No one's there to drop off and actually stop a runner coming through. And Byram's about 20 yards too far forward. And then when the ball does come through, he doesn't make anywhere near as much effort as he should be to try to get back. He basically jogs back. Collins is the guy closest to that side. Was never going to catch up with anyone in a race ever. Bad defending.
But Byram 30 yards up the pitch, exactly what happened against Crystal Palace with Alan Cresswell. Long ball forward, ball comes pinging back at us, and the wing back is at the other side of the pitch. I kind of don't really blame Alan Cresswell for that tackle, actually. He clearly sees his team's getting counter-attacked to hell and thinks, I need to chop this guy down. And like Gonzo said, the ref could have easily given a free kick, and that would have cut their attack altogether. But 25 minutes later, Sam Byram then had a header cleared off lineman. It was probably easier to miss than it was to score, actually, that free header from 6 yards. Then in 27th minute, Brighton had a small penalty claim when Ogbonna saved the shot with his hand, but he was only a yard away. Then in 29th minute, though, Charlie, bloody hell, West Ham came alive. Hernandez nutmegs someone, turns around, gives it to Noble, one touch to Mario, one touch to Hernandez, takes on 2-3 players, skips across the box and slams in the top corner.
Yeah, there was a tad essence of luck to it a little bit with Hernandez. Never looked entirely certain of what the hell was going on. The first pass to Noble, he sort of seemed to wait slightly too long to do it, and then he got a little bit lucky to get the space he did. But it's a fantastic finish, and it's no surprise that arguably the three most creative players on the pitch at the time were the ones who linked up really nicely through the centre, which was something we weren't doing anywhere near enough, is trying to attack them through the centre. And it worked really well. And it shows when we have the players to coalesce, when they do come together, they can create something really good. The problem is that we spend so much time passing it sideways out to the wings and just taking too long that it just never happens on a frequent enough basis.
Gonzo, good a goal as you'll get from West Ham this season.
Oh, it was really good, and fair play to Hernandez. He was involved in the initial part where he sort of had a little dribble, took control of the ball, as Charlie said. He played it to Noble. Noble played it into Mario, who did the deftest of little flicks. It was a nice little touch, subtle. Didn't spend too much time on the ball. He didn't need to. And then Chicharito does what he does. I just wish we'd have been able to get him in those positions more often. He decided not to go there. He delayed his shot, and then took it a little bit wide. And he finished really, really well. I thought he did fantastic in the build-up and in the finishing of that goal. I thought he did really well.
Just before half-time, Aaron Cresswell sent in two fantastic crosses. Byram and Mario not quite getting on the end of them. Half-time, 1-1. Gonzo, what was your thoughts at half-time?
I was disappointed at how we started, not just with obviously going the goal down, but I thought we started very, very defensively. Their goal shook us into action. I thought after that, we started to impose ourselves in the game. And I thought we finished the half really, really strongly, and I was looking forward to more of the same in the second half.
Yeah, you might have been looking forward to it, but you did not get that. And the first 15 minutes or so was quite boring. And then Izquierdo, who lit up the London Stadium, decided to lit up the Amex Stadium as well with an absolute peach of a goal. Charlie, is that one of those goals earlier we just said, show me a goal, I'll show you an error? Is this one of those goals you actually just have to say, you know what, it's a world-class strike?
Yeah, you can make arguments about closing him down earlier and that there was time to close him down before he actually gets the shot away. But let's be honest about it. Even from that sort of angle, it would have to be an absolute screamer to beat Adrian. And the way he beats him as well, I mean, you can't get it any further into that top corner if he tried. It was absolutely perfect shot. Perfect. It was brilliant. I'd even tweeted out at the time, said, I'm not even mad. It's just a bloody great goal. You can't be mad about it.
11 players in the box for West Ham, and they still failed to close someone down on the edge of the box. Antonio then came on for Declan Rice, but Gonzo was 3-1 and arguably a deserved 3-1 lead as Pascal Gross on edge. Well, to be honest with you, one of the worst clearances you'll see all season from James Collins. Hoofs it out a Brighton player, gives it to Gross, turns on the edge of the box, picks his spot. 3-1, 3 points.
Yeah, but he didn't have a good game today, Ginge. So, but let's leave it at that. He's played so well, and all the other games recently. Possibly the keeper was slightly unsighted because sort of Ogbonna turned to try and sort of get a block or something on it. I think the keeper might have been unsighted, and it did sort of curl in. But they scored a third goal. Crikey, they probably deserve 5 today. So we can't really have too many complaints about that. There was an awful lot wrong today.
Gross was fantastic today. He was popping up everywhere. He was causing us problems all over the pitch. How we weren't prepared for this, I don't know. How we didn't think before the game. Someone needs to mark him. He is everything. Most of Brighton's play goes through him. If something's going to happen, he's probably going to be involved. We didn't even bother marking him. So you reap what you sow, I suppose. Finish full time 3-1. West Ham have now conceded 6 goals against Brighton this season. Brighton have scored 21 goals in 26 games. So they've scored 15 goals in 24 games in the Premier League against other teams in the Premier League and 6-2 against West Ham. Gonzo, where's it gone wrong today?
I think you've got to separate. There's 2 very different things that have gone wrong today. So we've got to separate the 2. And the 2 things are the lack of squad depth that's been afforded to the manager, which I think has been a bit of a stitch up to Moyes. I think it was a stitch up to Bilic before him. And also, you've also got to blame Moyes for today's tactics. And we deal with it as an isolated game. It's also worth noting right now that Brighton were just much better than us. Okay, so Brighton were a better team today. They were better than us. They've been better than us in both games. So we say that, and that's that. But then we get into why it happened. It was just too damn defensive again. And if Moyes, you ask why he deployed the players in the way he did, then we got a rocket up the arse in the first half, and then we started to play better. So you're expecting the second half a bit of a team talk. Why did they come out worse in the second half? It was absolutely awful. We made Brighton look like Barcelona. And if the answer to that is that actually I couldn't attack because I didn't have the players, then that brings us on to the second part of that, which is the squad has been left woefully thin, and it's come home to roost today. I really do think so.
Charlie, where's it gone wrong?
The tactics, really. We all know that there's not enough investment from the board, and that's where it's gone wrong for West Ham in general. But today specifically, it was the lineup that I essentially wanted, but the problem is we just don't go forward enough. We don't look to commit enough. We don't play through the middle enough. We've brought in João Mario, who is a kind of a £40 million player, to play, and he's playing just behind Hernandez, who's our other massive player. And we spend the majority of the time trying to get it out to our wing backs, and I understand why. But the one time we actually try and play it through the middle with any sort of slick passing ability, we get a goal from it. I don't understand why we don't utilize the strengths of the players on the pitch more. It was the lineup I essentially wanted, but the tactics were just too negative.
It was the lineup I wanted as well, but at halftime, that's when, tell you what, social media at halftime, everyone was saying, you need to change it here. People were suggesting what they thought, but I didn't see anyone say, you know what, at halftime, let's just keep it the way it is. I didn't see anyone say that, because everyone knew we were lucky to get a halftime 1-1. I called it a meh half. I thought Brighton were by far the better team. Although saying that, we didn't really have any shots to deal with. So I thought we got off a little bit. Changes had to be made. He had options on the bench. While his squad depth's poor, he had Antonio sitting there who we all know how good he can be on his day. Aaron Cresswell's whipping in inch-perfect crosses, and we've got Antonio, who's an absolute beast in the air, sitting on the bench. How David Moyes at halftime hasn't thought, I need to get this guy on the pitch. If this Hugo is really good in it, I don't know. I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's good. If he is, David Moyes will know. One of them should have been coming out at halftime up front in the attacking and just saying, Cresswell, just keep whipping them in. This guy will win the ball in the air for you. He didn't do it. He didn't change it. We played for a point again today, and this is where it gets dangerous. Because I would much rather win one and lose one than draw two, for example. It's all very well, the official account on Twitter and other people going, oh, we're unbeaten in the league in 2018. You get more points for winning one and losing one, though. Points is what counts, and this is where it gets dangerous. If you're playing for a point, you got a goal down, then what? We got off with it the last couple of weeks against Bournemouth, 1-1. He took on two defenders. Palace thought we played well. We got the point, that's fine. We're eventually going to run out of games where you think, oh, crap, we need to go for the win now. We're going to start running out. We've got Watford next. Then after that, we've got the big teams are coming up again. We're ready to hit that sticky bit of fixtures. In the bottom half of that table, it's tighter than ever now. I think we're like 3 points off the relegation zone. It is not good at all. But Gonzo, individual players, has anyone come out today with sort of a pass mark across their name? Who's let you down or what?
Oh, well, okay. So I said Jim's had a very bad game today. I thought there was a lack of urgency collectively from the team. We'll leave Hernandez to one side because actually it was a moment of brilliance that scored our goal, and I thought he was good in the build-up. It wasn't like he did nothing all game and the ball came across the box and he hit it in with his arse. He actually pretty much created his own goal and then got back in the box to score it. So I'm going to leave him alone. I think you're right about Cresswell. Cresswell had, he didn't have his best game, but he had an end product which, I mean, crikey, if you could put Cresswell's crossing ability in Masuaku, you'd have a player. You know, you really would, because he's got that end product there. Aside from that, I am struggling. I'm really struggling a little bit. You know, like we usually say how when Zabaleta plays right back and they target Zabaleta. Well, obviously Zabaleta was in central midfield today, so we had Byram there. Well, you know what? They just targeted James Collins instead. And I think maybe he needed to switch things around in that central defensive, just positions or order personnel or something. I don't think anybody came out, apart from the two that I've mentioned. I'm really struggling, and you're going to ask the man of the match later, and it's going to be really, really difficult. I thought we were very, very poor today. Very, very poor indeed.
I think Cresswell's crossing was good. I think that was a highlight. But the problem is he's crossing it to Hernandez and Mario. I don't know if either of them are renowned for their heading ability, for example. That's where Chekiai has to get in there and get in the middle of the box. That's clearly the plan because he's always hovering on the edge of it, but he's never in there. You know, Sam Byram had the best chance. Sam Byram had the best chances for West Ham today and the most, and that says something. Unfortunately, he wasn't very good at them, but I felt sorry for him. Actually, he didn't have it. He looked all at sea, but he has a job to cover the full length of the pitch on that right-hand side. He was up against Izquierdo and Bong. He had two players. And he's like you said, they normally target Zabaleta. They did it to Byram. He's up against two players again. In the first half, Chiati and Zabaleta offered him zero protection at all. Chiati got out there more in the second half. But in the first half, nothing. He was just obliterated down that side. And what sums this game up, there was one point, Duffy just hoofed it. Well, I say hoof it, it's called a long pass when you do it like this, I suppose. A long pass over the pitch diagonally. Up goes Glenn Murray, a big tank in the air who's having a really good game. Who's up with him? Sam Byram, 3 centre-backs sitting behind Byram. Murray flicks it out to where Byram should be. And there's Izquierdo with as much space as he wants in the middle. And you're just thinking, who the fuck has decided that Sam Byram goes up for a header with Glenn Murray? How that is even a thing, I don't know. I just don't understand it. 3 centre-backs all standing there just watching Sam Byram go up. Now, I'm not saying Rice should come all the way over the pitch or even Ogbonna. It should be Collins that's going with him. Brighton have one striker, and our one striker was somehow up against our right wing-back. It's unbelievable. It's simple tactics like that. I thought Cresswell did okay, but you'll probably get slated for it. I think Ogbonna did okay. Collins was poor. Rice was a bit... His inexperience showed again today. I think even for their goal, he was one caught off keeping Murray on side, but Collins stepped up. You can't step up unless you are the last defender. He was in line with Rice and stepped up and left Rice standing there on his own, keeping him on side. It's things like that. Just blinker. I thought Noble had his poorest game for a while for us today. I thought Chiati was back to being the Chiati 3 games ago, where he was just nowhere to be seen. Mario has glimpses. Hernandez, I thought, had his, just like last week, I think he had a decent game, actually. But overall, this is not good. Charlie, what about yourself? Individual players from you.
Yeah, with Mario, what you said about having glimpses, it's like, we have a guy who we've just brought in. Why are we not utilizing him more? Why are we so like whenever he gets the ball, he seems to look around, he does something a little bit here, a little bit there. We need to play the ball to him in his feet, in the areas that he wants it more often. I don't understand why we aren't utilizing him. And that should give, theoretically, Hernandez to be the ability to find the space where then Jean-Marie can look at him and go, there he is, play the ball through, bang, goal. Yet constantly we play it out wide. And I think Cresswell had his best attacking game for a long time. Some of those crosses in the first half were so good, and you'd think if Antonio was playing right wing back, he might have actually headed a couple of those in. Unlike you, I think Byram's poor. I just don't. I want to give him the chance, and that's why I was talking about it in the preview about he needs to step up, he needs to be given these chances. I still don't know if he's actually good enough to play in the Premier League. I just don't see it. He looks at C, but he's not getting any help. Collins is not the person to put next to him. I'd almost be tempted to put Zabaleta next to him just for movement purposes, because Collins, as you say, he steps up, but that's all he ever does. Every single game he steps too far forward and he gets left with the space behind. And when the guy who's next to him is so far forward because he's a wing back, it's a recipe for disaster, especially when they've got Izquierdo on the left wing. But yeah, there's a lot of negatives to take from today. But hopefully those glimpses are something we can actually build upon. If not, then I don't know what David Moyes is really doing.
Brighton were fantastic. Let's make no mistake about that. Brighton were brilliant. He was tactics, just like at the London Stadium. Absolutely spot on to the T. Every player he had out there knew what they were doing, executed it to perfection. Mario had the ball, 3 Brighton players swarming around him. Don't let him get the ball. When their version of Mario, Gross had the ball. Well, he scored the 3rd goal because no bugger went near him. The sums it up there. Gonzo, what's your final words on this? Before I've got one last question. It's not man and match. We ain't doing that today. But what's your final thoughts on the game, etc.?
We're going to need to have a cup of tea, to be fair, and I'll show the cup of tea. Of course, not a cup of tea. We'll have one of those in a minute. We're going to need to go through this in a week because there's just so much stuff which is relating to the bigger picture here, and I'm really, really very annoyed about it. And it's not just his performance. I think we'll be all right. I think today's performance, it was Brighton. As we both said, they look good. I think when Lanzini and Arnautovic come back, we'll probably be all right. It's clear that Mario and Hernandez are on the same wavelength. But we're flirting. We are flirting. It's inactivity. And you can't keep patch repairing the roof when it's raining and expect it to stop it leaking. And that's all we're doing. It's sticking plasters on everything all the time. And there's nothing we can do about it now. The window's closed. All we can do is do what we're doing now on a game-to-game basis and analyse it. But it's so tight. And when you look at the other teams, you look at Stoke, look like they've got a spring in their step. Bournemouth, I think Bournemouth from 39 points now or something like that. They've pulled themselves right out of it, certainly. Swansea, Leicester. There's lots of other clubs that look like they can do well. And we're reliant on Moyes' negative tactics to work. And today, they just didn't work.
Charlie, what's your final thoughts?
Yeah, Mario and Hernandez may be on the same wavelength, but unfortunately, the one guy who's important for that to be on the same wavelength in David Moyes just isn't. We've got very, very clear strengths that we just are not utilising. And for a man who's in the position trying to reclaim some sort of credibility and in a situation where he's only on a 6-month contract, you'd think he'd actually try and play to the players' strengths he's actually got, but he just seems to deny them for the sake of playing very, very boring, negative football in the hopes of grinding out draws. And I don't think that's the way any fan would want their club to be run. Yeah,
I have to agree with Charlie there. It's just the players will get a lot of the bollocking today for not turning up, and big players have failed to turn up today, and it's not for the first time this season. But the manager played for a draw again, and if anyone out there tries to tell me they're happy, before we played the following fixtures, Bournemouth at home, Palace at home, and Brighton away today, if any fan out there would have been happy with 2 points, you're a liar. I don't believe anyone would have taken 2 points for that, and that is what we've got. Now, it's going to be very difficult to find 3 fixtures as winnable as those in a row. And the problem is we've just got 2 points out of them. That is not good enough. We're playing for draws, and we've got 2 points. It's just we're flirting with danger here. And I know Lanzini and Ivich has come back, but I cannot see David Moyes ever playing Hernandez, Mario, Ivich, and Lanzini in the same 11. And if he does, I cannot see it working. I can't see a system getting the best out of those 4 players because none of them are defensive-minded enough for David Moyes. It just won't happen. So we've got the players there. I just don't know if we can get them in. This is last question. Charlie, are you worried about relegation? The window's shut now. The difference between this and the last game is the window was still open. The window's no longer shut anymore. There's no get your checkbook out and get a player in quick. That's gone. We've got what we've got. And we're a few points above relegation. We've just got smacked 3-1 by Brighton, our relegation rival.
We have players good enough to not get relegated. My worry comes from the fact that I don't know if we have enough of them, especially with our injury crisis currently, and if we have the right manager to do it. I'm not convinced of either of those. And so I'm a lot more concerned than I should be given some of the talents that we actually have in our team.
Gonzo, what about yourself? You said earlier you think we'll be okay, etc. But are you worried? Would you be surprised if we went down?
I am worried, thinking that we'll be okay and being confident that we'll be okay are 2 different things. I think we will. I think we'll shut out enough. I think we probably will nick some wins in those tough games, or nick some points in those tough games that we probably haven't accounted for. But it is not going to be pretty. It is not going to be an easy ride. It's not going to be a comfortable ride. You're right, the window's shut, and the trouble is we have to admit that Moyes is defensive. I said this the moment we come in, look, this is just what's going to happen. You know, we deal with everything after the 6 months. But bearing in mind, he's a defensive manager, and if what he wanted was a defensive midfielder, where was it? Why isn't it there? Why wasn't it got? This is what we discussed on a cup of tea about these derisory offers for the players that he clearly needs to make his system work. And as you say, he may well be left with a quartet that are fit in Mario, Hernandez, Lanzini and Arnautovic, who he's just not capable of deploying. And you're absolutely right. Those are players that need to be utilised by an attacking manager. I am very, very concerned. As much as I'm concerned about this, I do think we're capable of getting a clean sheet in our next game, okay? And he does play for a draw. I do agree. What's more of a worry is that the other teams that should at this time of year be a little bit crap seem to be playing well and playing better than us. And make no mistake about it, Brighton were better than us today, and they've been better than us all season because they beat us in the 2 games that they've played against us. And that is against 2 different managers, and that's a worry.
That's a good point, actually. Well, Moyes is probably happy to play for a draw in some games. Bournemouth and Palace, they were happy to play for a draw. Brighton weren't. Brighton today, come the first 15 minutes of that second half, I thought they were. The tempo was so low, I thought Brighton are here to take point. But they almost, at a click of a switch, they almost upped the tempo completely. Bang, got 2. We were lucky it was only 3 today, actually. Brighton deserved maybe 4 or 5 goals, and it could easily have been 4 or 5. Adrian had to make a fantastic save at the end from Gross as well. Brilliant save he had to make. He couldn't do anything about the 3 goals today, I don't think. This is the big worry. It's like you said, I think we'll have enough 1-0s about us to stay up. I think that's what Moyes is going to do. But the problem is, while we're talking about how does Moyes, well, we'll do this in a cup of tea in detail, but just quickly, we're talking about Moyes can't get those 4 players in the team. To be honest, I don't think he should try, because I'm not sure we've got the centre midfields good enough in order to allow that 4 to flourish in front of them. This is why David Moyes and Slaven Bilic wanted a new centre midfielder, so that you could maybe play Ivich, Lanzini, Mario and Hernandez, etc. But we can't. This is bad. For you at home, we've done this just straight after the game, so you think we're overreacting. We might very well be tomorrow. We might have a different view, but straight after the game, drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Drop in the comments below what you think about the game, who let us down, why we got thumped 3-1 today. Credit to Brighton where credit's due. We probably haven't credited them enough in the show, but we've tried to all hint that Brighton were fantastic. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Me and Gonzo will be back with a cup of tea next week. Keep your eyes on social media and also hammerschat.com for when that is. And hopefully you can tune in and have a chat in the live chat with us, and we'll read out some of your comments. We'll catch you in a bit.